is this quote unquote good advice or helpful advice? And when is it actually working against me? Am I using AI to work against myself? Welcome to Executive Coaching in the AI Era, the place where you get real, no fluff, proven processes for navigating the chaotic, ever-changing corporate world. I'm Stacy Mayer, executive coach, promotion strategist, and best-selling author. For the past decade, I've been helping senior leaders like you make the intangible process of getting to the leadership table tangible, even during layoffs, economic downturns, and AI disruption. Let's go. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Executive Coaching in the AI Era. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. If you are a new listener to today's podcast, I want to welcome you. If you have been referred by one of my amazing clients over the years, I want to thank my amazing client for sending you my way. And if you have been a new listener or a loyal listener for the past 6 years that this podcast has been producing content, I want to both encourage and thank you for sharing this with your colleagues, for your friends, for other badass women in leadership who just need that extra edge, that little reminder that says, not only does your voice matter, but here are the tools to get more influence and impact at your organization today. So definitely share today's episode. So today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about ways that women and my clients and other women that I have talked to have used AI against themselves. If you're somebody who has ever put in an AI prompt and then felt really bad about yourself afterwards, then this episode is for you. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about asking AI for advice. And a lot of people will do this. They'll even upload transcripts of their calls, maybe transcripts of their interviews, transcripts of a meeting that they had with their boss. There's so many different ways that we can record and transcribe our meetings these days. And then maybe you've uploaded that into Claude and asked it for advice on how the meeting went. Did I communicate effectively? Did I communicate at the next level? Did I communicate as an executive leader? Did I show influence? Did I have curiosity in this conversation? These are all really, really fantastic questions that you can begin asking yourself. But the problem is that you'll ask these questions and then you may or may not receive the answer that you want to hear. Now, the funny thing is that AI is actually set up, especially on the advice side, to tell you exactly what you want to hear. Now, the question is whether or not what you want to hear is something that's going to lure you back in to use AI again and again and again. So this is the funny part, is that AI is specifically designed to keep you engaged, to keep you using tokens, to continue using it, to become more reliant on it. And these are all really good things, right? I'm not saying that it's this like creepy monster, but in a lot of ways, it is a creepy monster. It's sort of similar to how Facebook at one point brought the world together, and then now it has problems. We have these excellent technology tools that can do two things at the same time. So they can actually help us. They can make our lives better. They can help you make progress in your career, be more efficient in your day-to-day tasks. And it can also shame you, lure you back in, make you feel bad about yourself. It can be the ultimate yes person to your career. You know, I was just having a conversation with a colleague and we were talking about how CEOs are probably spinning out of their minds these days, not knowing if AI is yes-anding them constantly or if they're truly positioning and pushing back. Either way, it can be very problematic when you are using AI for general advice, like strategic advice, advice that is meant to tell you what to even do next. I am going to talk in today's episode about some of the ways that you can differentiate between is this quote unquote good advice or helpful advice? And when is it actually working against me? Am I using AI to work against myself? Let me give you an example of a client that has used Claude to specifically draw out if she showed up as a peer in her conversation. So, this is a tool that I use with my clients where I ask them to ask themselves and I coach them how to ask themselves, did I show up as a peer in this conversation or did I show up as a employee? A lot of times in mentoring conversations, you'll show up as an employee. Like, I need advice from you. I need you to tell me what to do. A lot of times when we're asking for feedback from somebody, we're showing up as an employee. Like, you know better than me, and I want you to tell me what to do. And the problem with this is that relationship is very sticky. The corporate world is set up with having a person be in charge and then the person right below them is not in charge, right? Like, I am your leader, do what I say. And so that's how the relationships are set up. But when you can show up as a peer, so instead of an employee, when you actually are going toe to toe with the person that you're talking to, even if that person is in the C-suite and you're at the director level, you can still show up in conversations as their peer. And there's a very specific set of actual criteria that I teach my clients to say, hey, am I showing up as a peer? These are the types of questions that I'm asking. Did the other person talk more than me? That's a good signal that you showed up as a peer. Instead of generally asking for advice, tell me what I don't know, you're more curious and asking them about what they do. So she had prompted in Claude asking, a transcript of a conversation. Did I show up as a peer or was I more as an employee? And then these conversations kind of spit back out to her, these are the areas where you kind of veered off. And then this is some of the places where you truly showed up as a peer. And this is great advice, right? If you can look at this very analytically, then it's wonderful. And it can really give you the information that you need to quote unquote do better in your next conversation. So there's nothing wrong with this type of prompt on the surface. The problem comes in the fact that we as women and as human beings, so two things that are inherently clouded by society. And I say this because we as women have been programmed by society to feel certain things that maybe our male counterparts weren't necessarily, and some of them definitely weren't necessarily programmed to feel. A couple of those things that come up a lot for my clients are shame, the lack of confidence, and the other thing is perfectionism. So perfectionism as a way to counteract the shame and the lack of confidence. So like if I do a good job, then I'll be rewarded, right? Like if I get this right, then I'll be rewarded. And so that goes way, way back to the school system and getting an A on your report card. These are things that we're showing up into these conversations. Now, when we ask Claude for a prompt like that, then what we're going to get back is our judgment is going to be clouded by this shame, this lack of confidence, and this perfectionist lens. So let's start with the perfectionism. The first thing that we're going to feel is like, did I get it right or wrong? And one of the challenges that I have with this idea of looking at what Claude spits back out to you as did I get it right or wrong is that there is no right or wrong. So you're asking a very specific question, and then it's Claude's job to spit back out to you what you want to hear. And so whether that is, I want to hear criticism so that I can do better, or it might have been the way that you worded the question that I just need validation and pats on the back that I'm going the right direction. So its job is to spit back out to you what you want to hear. And so you might be fueling your perfectionism by asking these questions. Or you could just look at it very like as a critical analysis and then go through and then figure out, okay, what am I going to do next time? What is one area that I could continue to work on so that I could show up more as a peer, to continue to stay out of that emotional state? But we're human beings and we're women in a great way that we're going to feel things very deeply. We're going to have an emotional reaction, which is amazing and can also work against us. The other thing is this idea of lack of confidence. And I think that sometimes what happens is that we lack confidence. And this has definitely happened for myself, is that the reason that I am asking Claude something is because I feel like I don't have the answer. And so I'm asking it a question like I could say, how was this marketing campaign? And then I feel like I don't know. I don't have the ability to judge it. And so then, therefore, I'm asking Claude, and then Claude tells me what it thinks like these are the things that worked, these are the things that didn't work. And then I get into the third thing, which is I start to feel shame. So I will tell myself that I wasn't good enough, that, oh, yeah, Claude is right. Now I feel bad because I can't take that marketing campaign back. I can't go back and redo it. It's too late. Maybe I don't really know what I'm doing, so I should ask Claude for advice ahead of time next time before I go through the entire marketing campaign, whatever that might be, before I make this choice, before I have that meeting, before I speak up in this conversation, before I negotiate that pay raise. I'm going to do everything ahead of time. And then if it doesn't go right, like as in my perfectionism kicks in, then I'm going to feel bad about myself. All of this cycle is happening emotionally for us. We're talking to a computer, to an algorithm, to something that is either helpful or not helpful. I think the ways that people have used AI most effectively to be helpful is in a more analytical type of way. And I am very confident that some people have used it for advice, emotional advice in different ways. And maybe perhaps it has helped them in these ways. But with all of these different lenses that we have, and because we don't know exactly what's actually happening in terms of, is it saying these things just because this is what I want to hear, then we tend to distrust it. And so that's another place where AI can really work against us. And so now we're kind of having an argument. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. And ultimately, what I want you to take away from today's episode is to really question, am I in integrity using this platform? Am I using it against me to fuel my shame, to fuel the lack of confidence, to encourage perfectionism? Maybe I should use the prompt again. Maybe I should try again and get it perfect. Or am I clearly using it as a tool just to see the data in front of me? And when you can use it more as an analytical data tool, then you can sort of say, oh, okay, this is how I make those changes. Now I want to talk about coaching in general, right? So if you think about a tennis coach, like Serena Williams, tennis coach, he said that I have nothing left to coach Serena in her technical skills. I have nothing left that I can coach her. So her technical skills would be like AI, like hold the tennis racket slightly to the right, to the left, like hit the ball this way, whatever that might be. These are the steps. These are the strategic moves that you could make in your career. These are the people that you could be meeting with in order to have more influence at your organization. Some of those are technical skills, right? Like, what should I be doing? Who should I be meeting with? But then he said, where my real value lies is I teach her how to get back into the game. I teach her how to come back after a setback. I teach her how to continue to stay engaged throughout the entire match. I teach her that confidence, that unshaming, and how to overcome her perfectionism so that she can win time and time and time again. And this is what my role is as a coach with my clients, is that I am able to use, yes, say this, do this, but I am able to decipher, hey, I think there's this nuanced other thing going on here that we might want to investigate. This might be the reason that you're not raising your hand. I'll give you a great example clearly about that, like raising their hand. So I was talking to a woman yesterday. we were talking about how she doesn't speak up at these 20-person leadership meetings. Now, first of all, she's the most junior person in the room. Everybody else is in the C-suite or at senior SVP level. She's a vice president, so she's invited to these conversations, but of course she doesn't speak up because there's a lot of very important people in the room, and so she sometimes feels like, she doesn't want to interject. One of the things that I told her is if we just take shame out of it, like I should be speaking up, I should be their peer, I should have something to bring to the table. I say there's always a great reason why you're not speaking up. And so what I want to investigate with her is why is it so brilliant that she doesn't raise her hand in these senior executive meetings, right? Like that's the place I want to go and I want to dig into. And I don't know for sure if AI can get there. I think AI would tell her a series of prompts of how she could speak up more in this meeting. And it's good. Like, I think that's great. And I want to talk to her about things she could say and different strategic ideas of actually speaking up. But the other thing I want to do is I want to investigate why it's a good thing that she's not speaking up. And here's what she's going to do instead. So those are two different areas that we're playing with. And so rather than just having the coach that's going to drill you on technical details and those things are incredibly important, here is actually how you hit a tennis ball. We're also going to work on the things that are truly setting us back. So sometimes if you find yourself, this is the whole premise of today's episode, feeling bad after using Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, there is a reason. There is something going on, something that you're seeking, something that you're looking for that it is unable to give you. And I want you to return to the data, to the analysis, and then figure out another way, whether it's through coaching or a peer-to-peer conversation with a colleague, of what's behind the nonsense, what's behind the words, what's behind what it is that you are doing or not doing. All right, my friends, never let AI work against you. It is a tool to make you a stronger, more badass version of yourselves. It is not there to continue to shame you. But if you are feeling that shame, no worries. Take a step back and say, hey, what can I do to solve for that as well? All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Before you go, if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, do so now. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there at stacymayer.com/YouTube and subscribe today. And if you know a colleague, a friend, anyone who needs to hear this message, share this information with them now. Post it to your LinkedIn profile. We are navigating this AI era together, and I am thrilled to help you on this journey. If you want to work with me personally, I invite you to schedule a call with me at stacymayer.com/discovery, where we will map out a career strategy specifically tailored to you. Whether you've recently been laid off or you're just looking to navigate this chaotic landscape and you no longer want to do it alone, go to stacymayer.com/discovery and schedule your free call today.